Hey Kyle and Nicole, we are working through IEW right now with Dustin, and he is a first year student just like Kyle is. And so I wanted to make a quick video to see if that would be helpful, because I know you guys missed class last week. And when we break it down and we do it in little steps, it can be fun and easy, and I don't want it to be frustrating for you guys since you missed. So this week, Mrs. Fletcher gave us an assignment, and it is Unit 6, Summarizing Multiple References. So with this, we have 3 different references to read. So think of those like little short stories. We have 3 short stories to read, and then we have to summarize each one of those stories, and then we're going to pull information from each one of those stories and build our own paragraph. So this is going to be a 2-part assignment. So it's going to cover 2 different weeks of CC, which is week 14 and week 15. And as we were working through this, I thought, since we've done it with Wyatt already, and I know some tricks, I thought I would share those with you guys. All right, so the first thing that we do is we look at source A. And the title of source A is Milestones in American Transportation. And then on the side, you will see that it already tells us that this first paragraph is just background information. So it's kind of like they went through it and they said, just so you know, I'm going to give you background information in the first paragraph. Now we have a trick to figure out what each paragraph is about. And this is also a trick that people use who speed read. So the trick is, do you want to share it with them, Dustin?
Sure. So, you read the first sentence, then you read the last sentence of the paragraph, then just guess what the paragraph is about with those 2 sentences.
Right, so based off the first sentence of the paragraph and the last sentence of the paragraph, we can get a really good idea about what that paragraph is going to be about. The first one is about background information. And so we write background on the side to let us know, hey, when I'm summarizing this paragraph, I'm going to think I'm looking for background information, and then my overall purpose, thank you, John, of this source is I'm looking for information to do with transportation milestones, because that is what it tells us that we want to focus on. When we finally write our paper is going to be on transportation milestones. So every time that I go to a new paragraph, I'm going to read the first sentence and the last sentence and ask myself, what is this paragraph about? And then I'm going to write that word next to it in the margin. So you can see Dustin did the next one, and he read this and he said, first sentence I read, the last sentence, this paragraph is about the Erie Canal. All right, so you go through that and you do that for your source A. And then you go, okay, got to refocus my brain. I've got my first paragraph. I'm looking for transportation milestones, because that is what my paper is end up going to be about, transportation milestones, and then background information. So what we do is we take a crayon, and as I read this to Dustin, he will underline what he thinks is important, right? So he went through the first paragraph, and what are some of the words that you underlined that you thought were important in this paragraph?
America, East and West, Industrial Revolution, early 19th century, and that's pretty.
Connect.
Oh yeah, connect.
So we just took some of the information. We took parts of sentences that we thought were important that helped us think about transportation milestones and background information. And then from that, so that was my first step. I just highlighted it in the book, and then I'll go over here after I do that. And notice, I wrote it all down for him, because sometimes little boys' hands get tired. But I know that Kyle has really neat handwriting, so I think he could do it too. But I wrote here, my topic is transportation milestones and backgrounds. My next bullet point were just some of the things that Dustin thought were interesting, and we highlighted them, and then we just wrote them down here, and we had to use abbreviations. Transportation Railroad, 1800s. America connects the East to the West. So hopefully that is a little bit of help to get you guys started if you were having any trouble with that. I like to read it with Dustin, and then I write it down for him if he wants me to write it down, especially since he's a first-year student. We try to make this as painless as possible, which means that I help him a lot. But even Andrew Poudois says you can't help them too much, because at some point they're going to say, I want to do it by myself. And when that day comes in 3 years, they will do their own keyword outline, like Wyatt does. And I don't help Wyatt nearly as much, but that's because he's done it for 3 years, so he knows it. Trying to think if there's anything else. So that's how we do our summaries. I think that will be enough for now. If you guys have any other questions, text me or email me, or if you want to see how we do stuff, let me know. And we probably will spend maybe 30 minutes, and we got source A done with our summary, and then we started on source B. Excuse me. And Dustin was getting tired, and I was kind of getting tired, and so I think we're going to take a break. So we've been at it for about 30 minutes. We'll come back to it later. But you know your own kid, and when they start to get tired, sometimes it's just best to take a break and come back to it, because this is a lot for these next 2 weeks to write all this down. So we'll come back later today, and we will finish summarizing source B, and then we'll do source C, and then we'll work on our fused outline. So if you want more of our tips, you can let me know. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks at CC. So again, you can kind of see what we do. We just go through and highlight what we think is important. And one trick that we use for highlighting things that we think are important, do you remember my questions I asked you?
Oh yeah, the who, where, why, chicken dance questions.
So it's our investigator questions, or our, like, the who, what, when, where, why. And those questions can help him figure out what's the most important. It just kind of helps refocus them, because sometimes they'll think the most important thing is an interesting fact, but maybe it doesn't have to do with what we're looking for in the end, which is a paper about transportation milestones, with our topic, like paragraph 2 is about the Erie Canal. So that's kind of what we do. It's a little bit different than how Jennifer teaches it in class, mostly because we just use a crayon in the book to highlight our stuff. And then we transpose it with the IEW method of summarizing with our 3 words or numbers and symbols. And we're not real sticklers on that, because it's our paper and we can do what we want. So you'll see sometimes I write more than 1 word. Sometimes I use more symbols. So the point is to get it on the paper to help organize our thoughts. Okay, you got any other tips or tricks that we do?
I've got one.
What's your tip, Wyatt?
So my tip is that I don't have a tip.
Okay, well, we don't want to take up any more of your time. We love you guys. We miss you, and we hope this helps. We'll see you later. Bye.